Yo, what's good with y'all? In today's video, we got part 3 of how to make Forsaken. And stuff, you guys showed part 2 some love, so of course I'd hit y'all with a part 3. So thank you for all the love and support you guys showed on part 1 and part 2. And stuff, of course I'm gonna hit y'all with a part 3. For everyone who keeps asking me to continue the series and whatnot, it's like I said in the comments, the series will continue so long as as long as the series keeps getting love. If the videos stop getting love, then the series is gonna have to stop. That's how all my series work and stuff. I just wanted to make that clear to everybody. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get straight into part 3. Okay. So here's what I've done so far with part 3, right? I fixed two bugs that people addressed to me. Shout out to Born Voilist for letting me know about the health bar. So pretty much if you died, reset your character, whatever, your health bar wouldn't reset. It would just say 0 out of 100 and stuff. So shout out to Born Voilist for letting me know about that. I fixed that issue. Then there was also the issue where, let's say you switch to a class that had less than or more than 100 health and stuff. The health bar wouldn't update to like fit that, like the sizing and the number wouldn't update that. So shout out to Gutsy Knight for letting me know, because now it reflects the current health for your specific class. Like let's say you have 50 health, the bar will shrink to like about halfway and stuff. It'll be full, it'll just be half its size, and it'll say 50 out of 50 as an example. So two bug fixes and then changes. Someone pointed out to me that the hotbar is invisible until the round starts. Like as in like you're, oh, I forgot to actually make that back visible. Anyway, so the hotbar, you shouldn't be able to see your skills until the round starts, right? Then I added malice. I didn't like add a malice system, hence why it just says the word malice. I just added the value and stuff. And I did add an inventory system, and then we're going to do a shopping system in part. This is part 3, so we're gonna add a shopping system in part 4. So everyone just be patient. We're adding each system one at a time and stuff. I don't want to add too much at once because then each part would be like 50 minutes long. So I'm just trying to keep it to like 20-minute parts. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Okay. So for the first thing, right, let's go ahead and let's take care of the UI. So as I mentioned with the notes and stuff with the hotbar, so in the game, the hotbar isn't meant to be visible. Your skills aren't meant to be visible until the actual round starts, right? So we're gonna open up Core GUI, go to your hotbar frame, set it to not visible. You're gonna uncheck it, right? Bam. Now what we need to do is we need to set up our inventory UI, right? So we can do that by clicking plus on the Core GUI. Let's insert a text button. We're going to name this inventory text button, right? Then I'm going to do bold text, rich text, scale the text. So the text, I'm just going to make a capital I. And then I'm just going to do the sizing 50 by 50. So we'll do that. We'll drag it like here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the background color to black. Background transparency will be set to 0.5. I'm going to insert a UI stroke to give it a white color. Oh, we're going to give it a white border. Then I'm going to insert a UI corner into it so that it's rounded. So we'll make sure that's a 20. And then I will go to the inventory text button. And I think what I'm going to do is, yes, change the text color to white. Text stroke transparency will be set to 0 and text stroke color will be black. Okay, so now we have our inventory text button, right? Now we need to set up our inventory frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert a frame into the Core GUI. Let's make this like 400 by 300, right? And then I'm just going to drag this to the middle and stuff, right? I'm going to set the background transparency to 0.5. Background color will be black. Then I'm going to insert a UI stroke into it. I'm going to set the color to white, right, and stuff. By the way, the customization, as always, the colors, the transparency, all that stuff, that's up to you guys and stuff. All that matters is that you do the naming and you parent everything correctly. But like the colors and everything, that's up to y'all, right? So rename the frame. You're gonna rename this frame to inventory frame. So this is where you're gonna go to see all of your killers and all the killers and what's the word, survivors that you own, right? So boom. Then you're going to want to insert a text button into the inventory frame. Top left, you're going to want to rename this button to killers text button, right? So we'll do bold text, rich text, scale the text, set the text equal to killers, right? We'll do black text. Text stroke color will be white. Text strokes and text, I can't speak. Text stroke transparency will be set to 0. And then we will leave the background color to be white and background transparency will be 0.5. So if it's white, that's how you'll know it's selected. and stuff, right? And then what you can do is you can just go ahead and duplicate this, drag this over to the other side. Clearly they're too big, so I'll just hold control while selecting both of them, and then just change both of their sizes to like 180, and then just move this one over. There we go. Now there's space. You'll rename your second button to Survivors text button. So as you probably guessed, this is how you're going to be able to choose between viewing the killers you own and the survivors you own. We're going to have to change the background color to black. So boom, something like that. And then obviously we'll update the text so that it says survivors. So bam. So when it's white, when the background's white, that's how you know it's selected. So you can switch between killers and survivors, right? Then we're gonna go ahead and insert a frame into our inventory frame. You're going to I have no idea what the hell I just did. Okay. So then we're gonna want to go ahead and rename this frame to character frame. Here's where your characters are gonna be. So we'll just put this like kind of in the middle. Right, so let me set the size to like I might do like 350. Then I just move it over a little. There we go. And then maybe 250. Yeah, that looks good. So 250, we'll set the background transparency to 1. I will insert a UI stroke into the character frame. Give it a white border as well, right? Then you're going to want to insert a UI grid layout into it. This is going to override and control the size of our buttons inside. So for me, what I set it to is 150 by 50, but you guys can set it to whatever you want. 150 by 50, right? Boom. So we're gonna do that. And then I believe that would be it for the I believe that's it for the UI. Okay. So by default, obviously you want to set the inventory frame to not visible. Stuff will make it visible when they click the button, and then boom, just like that, we are done with our UI changes. Now we can get on to the scripting changes. Okay. So let's go ahead and open up the local core script, right? We're going to scroll down a little bit to down here. Not totally sure why there are breakpoints on the script. I'm not totally sure what's going on up here. I'm just gonna delete. Okay, let me just go back into it. No idea why it says there are breakpoints. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna go here. We're gonna go down, and we're going to look for the in progress. You guys should see on the on client events the in progress, right? So when the round starts, we're gonna make it so that their hotbars are visible, so that players can see their hotbars and stuff. So wait, what did I do it? Oh, right here. So after we set the round text, so right here, you're going to say core GUI.hotbar frame dot visible is equal to true. So you're gonna make it visible for when the round starts. And by the way, I do know that the round doesn't end. Again, we're going to just be patient, guys. We're gonna get to everything. We have to baby steps and stuff. Shop system is next. Then we'll have to work on the malice system for determining the killer. Then round ending, and then like the killer's abilities, M1s, and like there's a lot of stuff that needs to be made. So just be patient. Okay, so we have that. Then you guys are going to scroll down here to why is there another breakpoint right there? Okay, so weird. Anyway, so you guys see we have the event type class, right? So I added something. This is a part of the bug fix I mentioned with their health bar needing to reflect how much health the player's current class has. So we're going to add another variable. We're going to say local max health. We're going to send that over from the server side. So this will be equal to argument number 2. You're going to go after this, and you are going to say core GUI.info frame, right? Info frame dot full health text label dot size is equal to udm2 dot new 0 comma max health comma 0 comma 25, right? Then you're also going to set the health text label. So core GUI dot info frame dot health text label dot text is equal to math dot round. You'll say player dot health amount dot value, go on the outside, dot 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 quotation marks slash dot dot dot, and you'll say max health. So you'll be updating the text as well as the full health size, right? Then after that, we're gonna go ahead and create. I still don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, then we're gonna go down here. I really have no idea why it is doing that. So then we're gonna go down here and let me just see. It won't cause any problems, right? That see that's so I don't know why it's doing that. I honestly don't know. I don't know where these things are coming from. I don't know why it has these random breakpoints on the thing. delete, delete, delete. I don't know why it has random things. I just want to make sure it's a glitch. And okay, there we go. So yeah, we'll be good. All right. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Um, right. So math.round player.health amount dot value blah blah blah. So then after that, we're gonna go ahead and set up our just ignore the red dots by the way. So after that, we're gonna go ahead and set up a function. It's gonna be called populate inventory. So we're gonna say local function populate inventory. And then in the parentheses, you're going to put class type, which is going to be one of two things, either killer or survivor. Enter, right? So then this is pretty much the function that's going to add all of the either the killers or the survivors that you currently own. So you're going to say for I comma v in pairs core gy dot inventory frame dot character where's character frame? Yeah, character frame, get children, enter, then check it. Make sure, of course, that it is a text button. If it is enter, then v destroy. Because let's say we're switching from killer to survivor. We want to, clear everything out of the character frame aside from obviously this stuff, right? Or if let's say we just bought a new killer, right? We want to update it and stuff, right? So we'll clear it all out. Then we'll go on to our second loop. We'll say for I comma v in pairs. You're going to say player.owned classes, which is a folder we're going to create to keep track of the classes the players own. You're going to say get children, close parentheses, enter. You're going to say if v.value. So the way it's going to work is the values inside of the own class folder are going to be string values. The name of the string is going to be equal to the name of the class. The value is going to be whether or not it is a killer or it's a survivor. That's how you can differentiate between the two. So we'll say v.value is equal to class type. Remember, this value is either going to be equal to survivor or killer, right? So pretty much based on what that is, we're going to add text buttons for the classes that you own, as long as it matches the type. So we're gonna say local class text button is equal to instance.new text button. Then we're gonna set some properties. Class text button dot name is equal to v dot name dot quotation marks. You're gonna say text button, enter class text button dot text is equal to v dot name class text button dot background color 3 is equal to color 3 dot new. I believe this is supposed to be, I think this is supposed to be white. Or was it black? This might be black. Now that I think about it, I honestly do not remember. Because like 0.11, what is 0.11? Oh, it's like a dark faded. It's like a dark shaded gray. I see now. Okay. Then we'll say class text button dot text color 3 is equal to, again, colors is up to you guys, by the way. Color 3 dot new 1 comma 1. Okay, 1 comma 1. There we go. Then class text button dot text stroke transparency will be set to 0. Class text button dot rich text will be set to true. Class text button dot font face dot bold will be set to true. Class text button dot text scaled will be set to true. Class text button dot parent will say is parented to core GUI dot inventory frame dot character frame. Then we'll set up the function for if a player clicks on the button. So class text button dot activated connect function close parentheses enter. You'll fire the let's say core event fire server in quotation marks. You'll say class to trigger the class event, comma, and then of course we need to send over the name of the class. So class text button dot text, right? And then let me see. I think I just realized probably need a way to like tell if it's equipped. No, it should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine. If anything, I'll just do it in the future. But yeah, so this is so that players can equip a class. Then we are done with that function, right? The whole point is we made it into a local function that we can just call to save ourselves some time instead of having to copy and paste this like 3 different times. So then after that, we're going to set up the inventory text button function. We're going to say core GUI dot inventory frame, or sorry, not inventory frame, inventory text button dot activated connect function close parentheses enter. You will say core GUI dot inventory frame. You're just setting it to how it is now. So killer's text button dot background color 3 is equal to color 3 dot new 1 comma 1 comma 1. So white. Then core GUI dot inventory frame dot survivors text button dot background color 3 is equal to color 3 dot new 0 0 0. Right. Then you'll trigger the populate inventory function. Obviously, by default, we want to have the killer side visible and stuff. That's how it is in the actual game. Or when you press your inventory button, it automatically shows you killers first, and then you can switch to survivors if you want to. So we'll have that. Then afterwards, we will of course just say core GUI dot inventory frame dot visible is equal to not core GUI inventory frame dot visible, so that we can make it so that it can be turned on and off. Then we're pretty much just gonna copy this in all honesty. So you can really just duplicate this. So you could just select it or just copy it, I should say. Then just paste and then paste. And then you're just gonna change it. So this, you're gonna say inventory. You're gonna say inventory frame for the second one. Then let's say killers text button, right? The killers text button stuff, right? I kid you not, the killer's text button stuff, it's literally the exact same thing. It's literally the exact same thing as this, except you're just, not changing the frame's visibility. It's the exact same thing as this. Great. Then you come down here, and then this is where it switches, right? So obviously we don't need this, so we can remove that. You're just gonna switch these two, because survivors is now is now showing the survivor side, and then obviously just change this to survivor. And then boom, right? You're done with the local script. Then now we can move on to the server script, right? And then let's create some new values. So scroll down to the leader stats. So first, this is a mistake I made that no one caught. I've forgotten leader stats is supposed to be a folder, right? It's supposed to be a folder, not a number value. So go ahead and change that. Then after money, we're gonna add two new values. So go ahead and copy this, Control C or Control plus C, then Control V and Control V. So this we're gonna add, like I said, we're adding malice. So malice. Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. From what I understand correctly, this is supposed to start at 1, I believe, right? Then we need to create our own classes folder to keep track of the classes the player currently owns. So we'll say own classes is equal to, just like leader stats, this would be a folder. And then the name will be the exact same, owned classes. Folders don't have values, and then you'll just parent this to the player. Boom. All right, we're done with that. You'll scroll down. We're going to need to create a new variable here because remember, we now keep track of the max health and stuff so that it updates per character. So we'll, like whenever this, I mean, per class, I should say. So we'll create a new variable. So max health, we'll treat it just the same as we did these and stuff, right? Before the workspace wait for child, we'll say max health is equal to class folder dot health dot value, right? Then after that, we will scroll. I want to say that this is, oh, right here. We'll scroll right here and then we'll add this at the end of the ability list. So we'll also add max health. We will send that over. Then you'll go here. This will address the other bug and stuff. So this will reset the player's health bar and stuff when they respawn and everything. So this fixes this issue right here. So you're going to go to the player.character added function, and before your health change function, you're going to say player.health amount.value is equal to character.humanoid.health, right? So boom, that fixes that issue, right? Then you're going to scroll all the way down. We are going to add a, wait, what am I looking at here? Oh, yeah, we're going to add a new function. So you're going to go down after all of this, then you're going to say core event dot on server event connect function in parentheses put PLR, which is short for the player, comma event type, comma arg1, which is short for argument number 1. Enter, then you're going to say if event type is equal to in quotation marks class. Enter, so if this is if the player is trying to switch classes that they currently own. So you could say local class name is equal to arg1. If you wanted to verify on the server side to make sure that they own the class, you could just say if player dot owned classes find first child class name. And then, if you wanted to just double check that and stuff, just to be on the safe side and everything, you could do that. But yeah, we'll just update their value. So player.class.value is equal to class name, and then boom, right? Like I said, because just making sure we're good. Yeah, see, this is already 20 minutes long. The shop system would have made this video like 30 minutes long. So yeah, shop system will be covered next part where you can actually buy stuff and save, and we'll do data saving as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and test to make sure all of this stuff where I don't know why I have all these breakpoints and stuff. Hold on. So we need to test. Okay, so first let's test the inventory system. Okay, so if I click play, right? If I click play, right? Wow, that is crazy. I did not know you could receive invites in Stoop. That's actually crazy. Anyway, so as you can see, we can open and close the inventory and survivor system, and as you can see, we could switch. That is not working. Okay, let's see. Killer's text button. Oh, see, I didn't change this. My bad, guys. So the last function is supposed to be inventory frame dot survivors text button. That's my bad. So just change that. So boom, as you can see. Okay, now we need to test. Okay, so obviously I don't have any classes that I own at the moment. So we need to go add some. Where's the own classes? Why is it a number of? Okay, and I guess I forgot to change that as well. My bad, guys. This is why I test at the end of the videos to make sure. What? What? Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad. I forgot. Good job, Z. Good job, V. Good job, V. Make sure you did that. Okay, there we go. This is why I test at the end of the videos. Okay, there we go. Now we have the own classes folder. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the server side, right? And I'm going to input some value. So this is what it'll look like, right? So let's say we'll call this test survivor, right? And the value will be either survivor. Oh, my bad. Will be either survivor or I keep thinking villain or killer. So test survivor and test killer, right? So we've inserted these values into own class to test, right? So it's simulating as if I actually own these classes, right? So if I open up the inventory system, you can see I clearly have the test killer and I also have test survivor. Boom, very simple. So, and as you can see, I can switch in between the two. If I close it, it'll go back to killer, and I can switch between the two. Um, Inside in the server side, as you guys know, inside of my character folder, I have for survivor I have noob and test. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the name of the test killer, or no, not test killer. I'm gonna change the name of the test survivor to just test because that's the name of the class here. And then you guys are gonna see that it'll update to test, which will half my health, so we can test it to fix the bug. So if I switch to test, as you can see, the bar updated to reflect it is now 50-50 and stuff, and I have now switched to the test class. So yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to trust myself to hope that the hotbar does in fact enable itself when the round starts. If it doesn't, just let me know. I'll fix it. And if you guys find any bugs, as always, just let me know in the comments, and I will address them in the next part and stuff, right? And everything. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying the series so far, definitely leave a like, subscribe. Like I said, as long as the series continues to get love and support, I will continue the series. If you guys are interested in any one of my scripts or models, definitely check out the description to learn how to get access to them and stuff. And yeah, just keep showing the series love and support, and more parts will continue coming. Like I said, part 4 will cover the shop system as well as data saving. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.